I do it?
It's so close.
It's close.
So close.
We'll call this meeting to order with the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, I had a moment of panic. Okay, prayer.
Alrighty. Yo, how's everybody doing today?
We're good, thank you.
Hey, do I need to talk into this?
You're probably close enough.
Okay, good deal. Awesome. Yeah, well, Heavenly Father, I just welcome you in this place right now. I thank you for your goodness and your mercy over each and every one of us. Lord, even if there's anyone here that doesn't know you, I know that you loved us before we made any right decisions. You decided to send your son before you had a contract to say that somebody would put their hope in you. So I just thank you. And also another thing I wanted to mention while I'm here with you is just it says somewhere in Proverbs that we can decide where we're going or decide our foot, or we can make our plans, but you ultimately decide our footsteps. And I pray that it would be that way with this city council and with whatever happens here, that we make the plans the best that we know how, but ultimately you would guide them. So I just thank you for your goodness and your involvement, even here in our little town of Libby, and I bless your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Councilor Burke.
Here.
Councilor Berger.
Here.
Councilor Cope.
Here.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
Councilor Taylor.
Here.
Councilor Zimmerman.
Here.
Roll call is complete, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Welcome everyone here tonight. Welcome everyone who's online. I do have a couple of announcements. One is that City Hall will be closed a week from tomorrow, November 11th, for Veterans Day. And the final leave pickup will be November 5th and 6th, which is Wednesday and 30. No. Oh, 12th and what? 13th. 12th and 13th, sorry. I don't know where I got the wrong dates. Okay, so you have another week to get your leaves all picked up. Mine came off the tree in the wind on Saturday night, so okay. Anybody else have any announcements? Anything that should vote? Tomorrow is election day, so if you haven't already turned in your ballots, make sure you get them turned in. Okay. Anything else? Anybody?
Write your number, your birth year in the squares.
Don't forget your birth date in the school.
Just your birth year.
Birth year.
I thought of something since you mentioned Veterans Day. The Cooney Valley Christian School puts on a program for veterans on, I think it's on Veterans Day. It might be Friday though. I'm gonna have to look at the date. Sorry, but there's a program that they do for veterans. I'll find the information on that and
Okay.
clarify that later.
All right. Thank you.
Reminded me of it.
Okay, you're good. That would bring, if no one else has any other announcements, that would bring us to approval of minutes of regular council meeting 1686 on October 6th and October regular meeting of 1687, October 20th.
Make a motion to approve City Council meeting minutes 1686 and 1687.
Second.
So did anyone see any corrections, additions? Any council comments or questions? Okay. Any public comments on these two sets of minutes? Public comments? Public comments, Mr. Orr?
Madam Mayor and Council, my name is D.C. Orr. I reside at 1117 Nevada Avenue. In the minutes of the 6th, under Sam's reports, it says that the city met with Lincoln County Port Authority attorneys in Noble to ensure all utility and road easements were in place. I went back and listened to the video, and what Sam said is we had a meeting. Now, the reason I bring that up is because during that same meeting, you guys were all up there crying about misinformation. And then you put out something like this that is so vague that it can be construed 7 different ways. Now, if I make the mistake of thinking that Sam had someone with him at the meeting, is that misinformation, or is that just me saying, Well, you know, Sam could have done a better job, because Sam said the city had a meeting. Well, was the whole council there? That's what the minutes say, the whole council was there, the city met with. Right now you have a very similar issue with one of your contractors that is calling a meeting about the downtown project, and they're saying the city invites you to this, and then they're saying that
Madam Mayor, point of order, doesn't pertain to the minutes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the misinformation that is being put out in your minutes tonight.
Well, that
Madam Mayor?
that meeting is not in the minutes, so continue on with your comments about the minutes.
Yeah, that's just part of the misinformation. You need to understand that. We're not talking just about the minutes, we're talking about the misinformation.
But this comment is about the minutes.
Yes.
We're
So
talking
say,
about the misinformation.
keep your comments onto the minutes that you want to make about the minutes.
Will you listen?
I am listening.
Okay,
That's why
we're
I'm saying
talking
you
about
need
the
to make your comments
misinformation.
regarding the minutes.
We're
minutes
talking
that we're
about
voting
The
on.
minutes that are being
misinformation.
voted on here right now, that has nothing to do with meetings in the future. So do you have other comments regarding information on those two sets of minutes?
If you allow me to continue?
No, not if you're not going to speak to the minutes.
I'm speaking about the minutes.
No, you
You're not
aren't.
paying attention.
No, you
You're
aren't.
misdirecting what I'm saying.
Mr. Orr,
Yes,
you have a point of order on the floor.
yes.
And I have tried to tell you, you need to speak to the minutes that are being
And I
approved.
am speaking
No,
to the
you aren't.
minutes.
You're speaking about something in the future.
You're trying
So,
to twist
no,
this into
no,
something
I am
that
not.
it isn't.
So you either speak to
I'm
the minutes as
speaking
they,
about the
no,
minutes.
then you may sit down.
You're
you may
putting
sit down.
misinformation in these minutes.
You may sit down.
guys are going to vote on it.
You may
and-
sit down.
Sit
And then
down.
you're going to whine about people misinforming everybody in the community.
Are the other
That's why we
public,
have you.
are there other
Madam Mayor,
public
point of
comments,
order.
are there other public comments regarding the
I won't
minutes?
suffer insults from the likes of
Are the-
that.
Are there other comments regarding
We
the
have to
minutes?
listen to you the whole time.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Sorry. My
Okay.
apologies.
Other comments on the minutes that are being presented? Then hearing no public comments, then all in favor of the motion to approve the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, minutes are approved. That will bring us to the department head reports. City administrators up first.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, good evening. On the report tonight, we just received the 90% plans for the spoils pile that WWC's been working on. We had another meeting on the plans while I was in Billings on that. There were some problems that Peggy had pointed out with the biathlon course, and you have the 90% plans packet in front of you. If you can take that home and just kind of look it over and see if you have any questions. The problem we had was the entrance going up and into it was kind of a switchback, which would have made it difficult for plowing and everything. But we couldn't drop down the level on the parking lot itself enough because we don't have the funding. So we cleaned up that quite a bit on everything. So if you could look that over, I'm going to give them a once over myself tomorrow. And then we'll get with them and have them do some cost estimates for us so we can bring it before the council to vote whether to proceed forward or not.
Can I ask a question? So I think the county plows that road, is that correct?
Yes.
They do, yes.
And are they apprised of the plans and are they,
The ski course is going to be plowing the little parking lot that's up.
Okay.
The county's just going to remain plowing the road.
the flower creek road?
Phase 2 for Spruce Street, it is way behind schedule right now by a few weeks, and Fraser's going to be working with them and the mayor to see what the contractual requirements are. But the first lift of asphalt is down. Hopefully here in the next couple days we'll get the second lift of asphalt on that, and then we can look forward to in the future doing parking lots. But as it stands right now, we are going to be saving some funding on this because it's $1,200 a day fine for not finishing on time. So like I said, the mayor will be working with the engineer on that to figure out the legalities. The Reese Court water leaks, it was down to over 30 minutes to fill 1 gallon, and as of today, it's just completely stopped. So all that water that took a couple months to leak out, it's leaked out now, so the bank hasn't moved anymore. So we're still gonna monitor it towards the spring though, and Scott's gonna keep an eye on it. Cause he's got all the new lines all the way around it, except for 2 lines which we put meters, curb stops and meter pits on. So we're gonna know if it's leaking on from that point on to save that bank. Also in front of you, you have the lower reservoir map with what's going on. Andy put together a short plan, and we're going to be going up there here pretty soon. We've already gotten with Noble Excavation, and basically we had to find some clay, and Dr. Ben Scott has some clay right down the road. Since we don't need that much, he said we can just go in there and scrape out some of that clay for the city's uses on that. So basically what we're going to do is go up there, and it may sound funny, but we're going to JB weld it. They make a underwater epoxy that's water safe. So we're going to JB weld up the cracks, and then we're going to pull out the riprap, repack it with clay to reinforce everything, and then we'll place the riprap back on top of that. So we don't have any word on the DNRC for their $30,000 for the repairs yet, but it just has to be completed, so we have to find the money on that, because we could face catastrophic failure if that fails. So just want to take a minute, because this is a perfect example of the importance of properly funding a capital improvement plan and maintaining the base rates at adequate levels. Right now I was looking at the preliminary engineering report, and right now the repairs for the lower reservoir that have already been getting planned are going to be between $3.5 and $5 million. So we're going to put a fix on it right now until we get this. So I just wanted to look and see what would happen if we get $125,000 for grant from rural grants and loans. We get a maximum of $434 for MSEP, and we get $600,000 from CDBG. We're going to still be 2.3 to 3.8 million short for that project alone. That can't wait another 20 or 30 years. So what would that mean to people? Well, in order, for those that haven't been around for the previous loans, when you do a loan, they have to do another rate analysis, because they have to add in all the principal, the interest, the short-lived assets, all the increased reserves that have to be done. So I did some quick math back there on the computer with the matrix the state gave us. It'll be an additional $5 to $7 a month per end user on the base rates a month to do that. And that's why I just believe it's so important that we fund this capital improvement plan and we're adequately funded for everything. There's going to be a position opening here at the city actually in about a week and a day. Unfortunately, Charlotte decided to go ahead and leave here, and she's going to go to a different position within the town. She's been with us for over 10 years, and she does a lot for the city. She's really going to be missed, and you don't really truly know what people did until they're gone, when everything, all the jobs get sorted back out. So if you see her, please say thank you. She did a lot for the city, and she really deserves that. So Leanne will be looking at getting her a cake and something, and say goodbye to her and send her off. Right now we're advertising the position in-house by the collective bargaining agreement before we open it out to the public. But if you kind of know somebody who might be a good match for in here or might be qualified, if you can just let them know, and there might be a position coming up. It's going to start at $18.30 an hour for the first year. After that it goes to $20.04 or 3 cents. So, and it is a career opportunity. Madam Mayor and Council, the rest I'll have will be actually on the agenda itself.
Thank you.
Unless there's questions.
Thank you.
Brings us to Street Supervisor.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So last month we were busy. Once again, patching potholes, sweeping, leaf pickup. We've been at it. We were at it 3 days last week. We're going to be at it 2 or 3 days this week, trying to stay ahead of it. Also been jetting sewer mains, along with some more camera work and cutting root mass out of our mains. We've been focusing a lot on that lately. Sprinkler blowout and the bathroom winterization has been completed. We had some laydown curb replacement at 3 alley approaches, one over here on 6th Street and 2 over on Cedar. We had 1 water disconnect on Michigan and 6th due to a lingering water leak. We spent a week up at the water plant. We cleaned out 1 of the 3 backwash basins, so those things get loaded up with everything that's run through the filters when they start noticing some pluggage. They backwash when they captures that in the basins, and then they let it settle out. It takes roughly 2 to 3 years for the moisture to settle out, and then we take it and remove it, and then they bring it back online. So we got that completed. We installed a culvert to DNRC standards on our access road to the Lower Reservoir, so just past the golf course. On that back road, you get into DNRC land. We do have an easement for that road. I did contact DNRC, met with them, told them what we wanted to do, and we got that in. We had 1 cremains at the city cemetery last month. We've been doing quite a bit of maintenance on some of our equipment. We rebuilt both propeller shafts on the snow blower, some bearing replacements, and some races. So we shouldn't have any issues with the blower for a while. We also rebuilt the rear end on a dump truck, walking beams, brakes, seals, drums, etc. So and airlines. So that truck was another one of our neglected ones in the fleet, and so we had the opportunity to get caught up on that and get repairs made. So that should be good for a while. Our seasonal employee, Fred Appleby Jr., his last day was on October 20th. He did a great job this year. And we also had a pre-con meeting for the affordable housing complex on Commerce Way. Got a good plan on that, doing their tie-ins, getting the mains ran into the property. The city will also be adding 2 new valves on that phase when they're doing that work. What that'll do is it'll enable us to do more efficient means of shutdown isolation and future looping of that system down the road. All of our city street openings have been sealed up, paved over for the year. We did finally receive our order of the cones, signs, and candlesticks through the transportation grant that Laura got for us here at the month prior. So all that got together and shipped. We received that last week. The screens up the Lower Reservoir, they've been needing a little bit of additional attention lately. Sometimes 2 to 3 times a week, just because of all the leaves and foliage and everything else that's making its way down. Been keeping an eye on the upper reservoir as well. October 24th, we were at 6 foot on the gauge on the back of the dam, and 6 days later we were at 8 foot 2 inches. So we had 2 foot of rise. We're sitting very well, and we also had 2 water main repairs for the month of October. And I'd just like to say, I don't know if any of you have been by and have noticed, but we had that skate ramp was placed over at Fireman's Park. They had a projected cost and square foot coverage for the sod. They fell a little short. They were able to get the rest of the sod in. They did a really nice job matching everything up. It looks great. And I want to thank Melissa for seeing that through. She was my point of contact to keep needing them to get that done before winter, so it gets time to set up and it'll be ready to go come springtime. So, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chief of Police?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
October, we had my records, it shows one of our highest, busiest months. We had 421 calls of service that officers responded to this month. Compared to the 207 in 2024. Again, a lot of this is back towards our officers, so brand new officers who are excited and eager to go out and make contact with the community any way that they can, whether it's through traffic stops, community engagement, walkthroughs, things like that. As far as the rest of our numbers, we had 2 assault cases, 7 disturbances, 5 threatening calls, 5 thefts, 2 mental health calls, 22 public assists, 9 juvenile problems, 22 walkthroughs. Again, walkthrough is any time an officer walks through like a bar to make sure that there's no underage people in there, that people are comporting themselves in good manners, walking through schools, things like that, to have that presence. We've had 46 city ordinances enforced this month, as well as 19 suspicious people or vehicles, 9 crashes, 3 DUIs, 160 traffic stops, and 51 agency assists. That number doesn't include any time that we've helped with Montana Highway Patrol or any other agencies through our system and on the tracks through how we help the county. And then not included in those numbers is an additional 35 calls for service where our officers were able to back up other police officers, other Libby police officers. Now that we actually have more coverage since all of the officers have completed field training. That being said, Officer Stevenson completed field training in the month of October. All officers completed firearms training this month. Officer Thomas completed a rifle armorer course, as well as a Glock armorer course, and he's able to help maintain all of our firearms to make sure that they're working properly and increases their longevity for us. This week we also have another training coming up called Stop the Bleed. I actually noticed there's a poster for it in the other room there. Stop the Bleed is a nationally recognized program developed by the Department of Defense. Its purpose is to help train not only first responders but also community members on how to treat traumatic injuries until higher levels of care can arrive. The course is free, but the course is critical and can result in saving a life. That'll be hosted by Dr. Erkenbach, and we're very grateful for that opportunity. One of the other issues that have come up that's been brought to my attention from the community as well as from Mayor Williams is there has been a lot of concern regarding businesses selling nitrous oxide in Libby. The selling of nitrous oxide is legal, although it does have some very problematic things that fall into it. Typically it is used for food-based things, so creating whipped cream and a couple other culinary delights. But through my research, I found there are no bakeries in town that, or within the county, that use nitrous oxide in their products. And the businesses that are selling it are not selling food-grade nitrous oxide, and they're selling it specifically to be inhaled. Because it is not illegal to have nitrous oxide, there is no age restrictions on it. So anybody can go in and buy nitrous oxide and then inhale it. The really big problems with that is it can be fatal. It replaces the oxygen that's in your body and cause you to asphyxiate. We have several documented cases already of people driving under the influence of nitrous oxide, as well as juveniles having it and inhaling it, leaving quite a mess. And just more and more people having access to it is causing problems. Our biggest concern, though, is obviously it is very dangerous, and you never know when that's going to hit. It could be the very first time someone tries it. There's a lot of times it is sold in a happy little balloon with a smiley face on it. It's very inviting, but can cause death almost immediately. And there's no restrictions, so again, our children can get a hold of this. Anybody can get a hold of it. And then same thing with another drug that's commonly sold in gas stations and things like that. It's called kratom. At low doses, it's similar to a stimulant, kind of like Adderall or methamphetamine. At high doses, it's similar to an opioid. It's extremely addictive, causes psychosis, and it has the same withdrawal effects as if you've been doing heroin. But it is a legal substance that can be purchased anywhere without any kind of age restriction. We're going to do some more research on this through the other cities throughout Montana, see if they have taken any steps to help protect the communities from it. And hopefully I can come to the next council meeting with a little more information. But I just really wanted to make sure that was on you guys' radar. I know it's a hot topic on social media and throughout town, so it is something that we can get ahead of before someone dies. Personally, within the first 3 weeks I was here in Libby, we had a fatal incident where someone was using dust off, inhaled it near a riverbed, passed out, fell forward into about 4 inches of water, and drowned. It was an absolute tragedy. It didn't need to happen. But again, using these inhalants, things like this, it's very common, and we need to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't expand more. Any questions?
Thank you. So the next report would be clerk and recorder.
I do have one item, Madam Mayor, Council. I forgot to report last month that we did have our surplus auction, and we were able to get rid of the majority of the items for a total of $3,365. So And we budgeted for 5 because we weren't quite sure what it was going to do. So we did make a little bit of profit off of that.
Thank you. Move to council committee reports. First up, well, I'm going to make a comment about the wings, just so that we have it. We had thought we found a new home for the wings that are on the ground down at Police Officer Park, but I got a call from Matt Bakken, who's doing the concrete work, and there seems to be a disconnect between what the schools are telling him and what a committee had thought they had worked out with the schools. So we're going to try to move to resolve that, to try to get those wings in the ground. The other committee report would be you having a committee meeting on the 5th. Yeah.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think there are any other committee reports. So that would bring us to the next item on the agenda, which is public comments on non-agenda items. If you have a comment to make on non-agenda items, but are within the jurisdiction of the City Council, then step to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. So are there any public comments? Mr. Orr.
Well, we're on the subject of misinformation, Madam Mayor. As we delve into the parking lot up at the reservoir, I think the people of Libby deserve an explanation on why we're paying to remove the materials that were part of the contract. The removal was part of the contract for the dam. Why are we now paying to remove it? Someone ought to check into that and explain to the taxpayers, the people you guys claim to serve, why we're spending a bunch of money to do what the contractor was already paid to do. Now that's just a little information for you. You'll twist it around into misinformation quite possibly. It goes beyond that to the dredging of the lower reservoir. In January, the year the dam was finished, the dam overtopped. And when the dam overtopped, it washed away the sediment on the downside of the dam. Now, we had been told that that dam was being placed on solid rock, and yet it washed a hole 23 feet deep. Now, someone explain to me how that happened. And now, you guys are going to expect the taxpayers to go in and dredge the lower reservoir because of a mistake that was made by the contractor on the dam. Contractor's insurance should have paid for that. People of Libby need to know why you guys sit there and just throw our money away and don't look at the root causes of it. I think that's something that you guys should be doing to show the people of Libby that you're earning their trust. It's about transparency and accountability. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Then we will move on to the next item, which is a public hearing regarding the budget amendment and resolution 2062. So we'll open this public hearing. We'll start with an introduction on the budget amendment from our clerk treasurer.
For the budget amendment?
Oh, excuse me just a second. I do need to point out that it was published, this public hearing was published in the newspaper on October 24th and October 31st.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. For the budget amendment, we were closing out the year, and these are the recommendations from the auditor. And a lot of it has to do with, because we brought a lot more revenue in, so we have to balance our budget with the expenditure side. And so that's what this budget amendment's for. These are the funds that he found that we need to balance. So.
And part of the grant one was part of the lore.
Oh,
lore. Those
yeah, really
lore
threw that
grants
over.
that kind of were exceeded what we expected. So are there any public or any council comments or questions on this budget amendment from the council? Okay, any public comments on the budget amendment? Any public comments? public comments? Okay, seeing none, we will bring the motion back to the floor, or back to the table.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number
Actually, Kristen, that's
26.
part of the agenda.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
so seeing no public comments or council comments, then we will close the public hearing and move on to the next agenda item, which is to approve Resolution 2062, amending the fiscal year 2025 budget. Now you can make your motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2062, amending the fiscal year budget 2025.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions at this point? Okay. Any public comments at this point? Any public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Brings us on to the wastewater preliminary engineering report, order number 6 with WWC. This is moving the process of getting the wastewater preliminary engineering report in place so that we can have it done by next spring. Does anyone have any questions on the work order number 6 that was put out in your packet? Mr. Sykes, did you have any comments to make about it?
I already made corrections prior to it coming to council.
Any comments? Do you have any comments?
Actually, this started out when we met with the engineers as a $50,000 project. Once we had the scope meeting, it was the mayor and I with WWC Engineering. We had to increase the scope a little bit more to plan for future growth, and then to add a few items that we wanted to really delve into, such as current projects of another clarifier, another oxidization ditch, a second press, and then we ended up getting a $40,000 grant for it, which made the total cost end up being $78,000 lump sum because of the expanded work scope in this, because we wanted a more usable project or product. Are we taking odds on whether it gets done before the water TDR?
Okay. Are there?
I'll make a motion to approve the wastewater preliminary engineering report, work order number 6 with WWC Engineering.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding or any comments the council wants to make? Okay, then I would open it for public comment. Are there any public comments on the wastewater preliminary engineering report, work order number 6 with WWC? Any public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That work order is approved. That brings me to the request for the submission of approval for the submission of the Montana Main Street grant. And this is some items that would be helpful in starting the process of creating an attractive downtown. I sent out a memo that talked about, banners, flower pots, planters, construction of 2 little parklets, which is just like a little movable seating, attractive seating areas. I think there were some pictures around somewhere. The exact items won't necessarily be firmed up until next week's public meetings. And we have been, Gail has been helping me work on the Main Street application, for which I appreciate it, because I put on a lot of words on paper, but they aren't necessarily the right words. So did you have any comments to make, Gail?
No.
Okay. So are there any questions about this?
Make a motion to approve the submission of Montana Main Street grant for Mineral Avenue Master Plan.
Second.
Okay. So any questions or comments? We will send that application out for the council to see it before we submit it, but it's going to be very tight. So is there any council comments? Public comments? Any public comments? Are there any public comments? Then all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Then we're going to introduce the update of the city policies and procedures. This has been kind of months in the making, and tonight is just to put it out there for everybody to start looking at. It was at one point 2 documents that did not necessarily say the same things. So we have tried to bring 2 documents into one. We also tried to make everything align in the proper way. Since the police department is no longer in the CBA, we brought some things for the police department into this document. We made sure that everything aligns with the CBA, and so we are putting it out for review and comment over the next couple of meetings. So did anybody have a question about it, or it's a fairly extensive document?
Madam Mayor, I have all the supporting documents from the state, the Montana Legal Department, everything.
We have run
in a
it through
folder.
Montana League. We sent it to Dean, who will have some comments.
It went through HR with our insurance companies. The union has went through it to answer questions, and like I told Councilman Taylor, the biggest change was adding the firearms policy. We really detailed out the drug policy, and then for the discipline portion, it was too vague and it caused confusion, so we tried to outline a steadier process. But I have all the emails from the state and everything here if anybody would like to see the supporting documents.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments to make at this point? Okay. Then we will move on to approve all claims received to date.
Make a motion to approve all claims received to date.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions on any of the claims? Any public comments on the claims? Public comments on the claims? Public comments on the claims? I will remind people that if you are interested in knowing what how the city spends its money, that you can find that out by looking at the claims. That's the bills that the city pays on a monthly basis. And so you can just come into the city on Mondays of the council meetings, and someone will help you see them. So all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Claims are approved. That brings us to a business license application, Fish Hawk Fly Shop at 115 West 2nd Street.
Make a motion to approve all business license applications received to date.
Second.
Okay, are there any questions on this? Any public comments on this business application? Public comment? Public comment? Then all in favor of the business license approval?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. This business license is approved. It brings us to unfinished business, the first of which is the Chamber of Commerce request for a long-term building lease. They did send out a document on Friday. Unfortunately, it was late enough that I had already left for the weekend, and so I got it out today, but I'm not sure anybody has actually had an opportunity to look at it or to review it. Would you like to say something about it? One of you who's here?
I can just answer any questions.
Oh, okay. Did anyone have time to read it? Have any comments or questions?
I would like to know what our attorney has to say about it.
I just asked to unmute. Mr. Chisholm?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, are there specific questions or?
I think Ms. Smith just was interested in any comments you might have.
Well, so I think the revised lease that they sent us still contains language that has them owning a building on our ground, but it doesn't address some of the current concerns the council has had about what happens at the termination of the lease. If they actually own the building, are they going to remove it? Do they get to control who leases it after the end of the lease, etc. So that's kind of the crux of the discussion we're having. Most of the rest of the terms that we have proposed are still in place in their suggested revision. Does that help?
Well, my question, I guess, would be for the chamber is what's the necessity of owning the building?
I'm Devin Reese. I'm the current president of the board of the chamber right now. So the reason we want to say on paper that we physically own the building is the same reason that he's concerned about the other way. So what's to say you're not just going to kick us out and sell the building? So the history of the building is that the chamber came to lease it on there, and the community members came together and raised money, and then there were some loans taken out. What ended up happening that we can find in the history and in speaking with past executive directors there is that there was a downtime of the chamber where they couldn't pay their bills. And so they came to the city and said, can we change this so that we don't have to pay taxes? And the city agreed to do it very kindly, but the community members in the chamber came together to build that building, so it was purchased by chamber dollars and community member dollars. And so not only do we need to own the building in order to get the grant to remodel it, but like I said, we sort of have concerns about our stability in the building the same way that you guys sort of feel, I guess, on the other end. I didn't know that you felt that way on the other end, but.
So I was under the impression that the grant did not require ownership of the building.
That was my
She's
impression.
right. Oh, she's right. Okay. However, there are other options as well, other grants and things that would require.
That would require. Okay, so the current one does not require it, but we were looking at options for others also.
Any other questions?
I've read through everything, and I'm not in favor of putting the chamber on as the owner of the building. I think Dean was pretty clear and very fair with our lease that went out. I know that there's been a very strong push for the chamber to own the building. And I'm not in favor of that. Also, they've removed, if they were to build a new building, then they don't want to upgrade the water lines and the sewer lines. And it was also mentioned that should they decide to move later, that this building that is built with grant funding would then be sold back to the city. I don't care for that either. I think Dean was fair, and I think we should go with that proposed lease.
Well, I think we just need to be consistent in our lease agreements, and we've already started to establish and improve relationships with our leaseholders, like the ski club. Right? They have a long-term lease, and they build a bunch of buildings, but they don't own the buildings. We would have to find another tenant, right, should that entity cease to exist, and it would be the same with the chamber, that there'd be another entity. I can't see that the city would be very interested in taking on buildings, other than just having long-term leases.
Yeah, I think the long-term lease has worked in the past.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to.
So in your other leases, they do not own the building?
Correct. The ski course?
No,
right.
but they like KPFL ski course. They treat the buildings as their own. They maintain them. They take care of and they use them. but ultimately, at the end, they don't belong to them. They belong to the city. Should a conflict develop, then those buildings would revert back to the city.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, when they built the park, I mean,
I'm sorry, I missed that comment.
she's just reminding me that the property, that the current Fireman's Park property is only slated for tourism. So anything that goes there can only be tourism related.
I mean, totally, I think there's none of us that are against the chamber and having long-term leases and making sure that everybody is involved with the community and doing what they want to do. But the problem just lies is with, as we're finding out later in life, if you try and start putting buildings and lands against each other, we're not going to none of us are going to be here in the 25 years probably. It's going to be somebody else, and we're trying not to leave them with a problem.
This is how we got in this mess, because originally the chamber did own the building that was on the land. So when it originally was done and the original lease was made, that's how it was. And then things got changed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I took a look at the original documents. That doesn't seem to be accurate.
Okay. I have them, but, I mean, we have them, but okay. I'm not a lawyer,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions, comments, Mr. Taylor? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I guess this conversation will continue to the next meeting. Which brings us to the Grant Writer Community Development. Based on trying to direct this to a 1099 contractor, we did rework some of a position description that had been hanging around for a while and make it more city oriented. Did everybody take a look at that and have any comments on it? Does it look like it's going in the right direction or not?
I think it looks like it's going in the right direction. I'd like to see it actually gain some traction and get out to the public.
Any other?
Well, I will just continue to say that the city needs a dedicated person, not somebody who's contracting with a lot of other entities. I was recently looking at employment opportunities, Western Planner, Montana Association of Planners, and they're all across the western states, within municipalities, community development director positions, exactly what their job description is. And they pursue grants, and they are beholden to the city alone, and they foster those relationships for economic and community development. So I'll just go down beating that drum.
Any other drums to beat out here?
I concur.
Okay.
I mean, I don't disagree. We need somebody. We need somebody to help the city. We've had a void for almost 5 years now since Tina Oliphant left her position, and there's been nobody doing the work that we need. And you need somebody on the ground with boots, understanding the relationships between entities in the community, and always on the phone with Big Sky Trust Fund, community, Department of Commerce, and all the other entities being the first in line, saying, "Hey, we're ready. We can submit this grant tomorrow." I mean, that's just.
I agree, but I think we need to start somewhere, and by us keeping this on our desk going back and forth, it's not getting out anywhere other than right here. So we have to start somewhere. Part-time is better than no time. And I'd like to see it get out to the public so that we can at least get started.
Okay. Okay.
Can we
Are
put
there
this
any,
on?
is there any direct feedback from any of the items, the way they were worded, listed?
So there's a position description and then there's something else that says draft on it. Job description. So it's like there's two different things.
The one that says draft is the rework, I believe, of the position description that we looked at, is it the same thing? It looks like it's the same thing. One has a draft on it and watermark on it and one doesn't.
I think the other one is super faint.
Yeah.
And one's like photography.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to.
I think
ascertain
this one
which-
was an old one that we worked from.
Mm-hmm. One
I
of
think
them
This
is.
one is the one that is current. This one? Okay. To get, this was for publication to get out to
This
the
is in
job.
the city format.
I have too many copies, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure
we
which
have
one.
too many copies, too many.
So this is with the city standards as right now. Yes.
Okay, so this is new.
So, well, okay, so what's the one that you want us to pay attention to? What does
This
it
one.
say at the top?
It's the one that has the
City of
part-time
Libby
1099.
position description. City grant writer and community development coordinator. Part-time 1099 contractor, pay based on relative experience. Let me see if there's something that, under essential functions, produce, maintain, and execute a community development work plan by working with the mayor in identifying and prioritizing projects with the future land use boundary to promote growth and improve accessibility to and within the city. That would be the one you should be working at. Yep. Okay. So we'll give everybody a chance to look at it and review it prior to the next meeting. And so that brings us to general comments from the council. Anyone have?
Take public comments
Would you like to make a public comment?
on both of them.
It's not an action item at this point, but you can step to the.
It says on the agenda, public comments will be taken. Is that misinformation?
Oh, here we go.
Am I allowed to continue?
Yes.
So, on the first one, Chamber of Commerce, if your attorney says that he has information that offsets their information that they owned the building originally, then your attorney should release that information so it gets rid of the friction. Otherwise, it looks like you're stealing the building that they at one time owned. So I would like to see someone sitting on that side of the table say, hey, put that out there so we can tell people that they never owned the building, that that's misinformation. Then on the grant writer, community development coordinator, I'd like someone on that side of the table to say, you know, we ought to get mandatory reports.
Hi, Mayor.
Reports.
I think both of those items were on the agenda.
They were unfinished business and no action item.
Public comment is limited to 3 minutes concerning each item. It's right there on the agenda. Read it. Am I allowed to continue?
Yes.
All right. So I would love to see someone on that side of the table say that this position should report on a regular basis to the council and to the public. Otherwise, it becomes like KRDC, and it just kind of goes quiet. They say it's defunct. Then we find out that it's not defunct. and a lot of money goes away. I don't want to see that happen. So I'll have more comments on that at next month's meeting. Thank you.
Okay, how many of you in the council keep from meeting to meeting documents that are put out with your packets? Right here is the deed from June 11th, 1970, put out with nearly your packet, as well as the current deed. And this is exactly the same information that the chamber has, and exactly what Mr. Chisholm is looking at.
Along with Dave Thompson Search and Rescues and the airport's list.
So how did they come to the interpretation that they owned it at one point?
I guess, previous administrators.
There was, and I say this because at the time Dwayne was on this chamber board in that time frame, and there was the perception from, because they had raised the money and stuff, that that was their building. But the conflict came, and it's somewhere in this documentation, the conflict came in the early 90s when, because they supposedly owned the building, there was a property tax on it, and they did not want to pay the property tax. So they handed the building to the city and said, here, it's your building. That's somewhere in this documentation. Okay, any other questions?
No, but
So-
as to the grant writer position, on the bottom line here, it says where it reports to, but it reports to the mayor and council. Right here on the bottom line.
And the public?
Oh, and up there.
Okay, is that dispensed with those two items?
Yes.
So, general comments from the council?
I have the dates and times for the
Okay.
Veterans Day program.
Okay.
It is Friday, November 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the Assemblies of God Church on Collins Avenue there. It's open to the public. Veterans are definitely welcome to come. It's for you. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Other council comments? I have one. There's a big notebook laying out here on this corner desk. That's the beginning of the Parkland Timberlands subdivision next door. They have submitted it. It will go to the planning board on November 24th. WWC is working on all the documentations. They've sent out letters to the agencies, community, and so they will then be preparing a report for the planning board, who will review this and in a public hearing. It's on, the notices are already going out, and so this is just getting started with this review of the subdivision. Okay, any questions about that? And the planning board looks at it first, and then it passes on to the council, where we'll have another public hearing, hopefully on December 15th. Okay, any other comments or anything to say? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.